Let's get technical here because for the layperson, Bluetooth, it's a very cheap sensor that's embedded in a lot of different devices out there. I thought it only had a range, even Bluetooth low energy, of like 30 feet or something like that, maybe a little bit more. How do you enable this technology to connect to satellites?
Absolutely. And as you might imagine, the first reaction I ever get is, what the heck? My headphones barely work when I leave the room. And the reason everyone thinks of Bluetooth as such short-range communication is the use case that it was built for, which was streaming music from your computer to your headphones. And so it's trying to transmit a lot of information at once, and that actually massively reduces the range that you can get out of Bluetooth. And instead, what we're focused on is much smaller amounts of data, but very important data. Where are my things? How are they doing? And is everything okay? And so by focusing on this different use case and then changing the characteristics of the RF signal, you can actually get it to go all the way to a satellite and reach it from outer space. But the true IP and the true core technology is a new antenna array that we've built in space that has thousands of antennas on it that are doing advanced digital beamforming to make it all happen.
How do you get those to space?
We launched them with SpaceX and a few other rocket launchers. And, much like everyone else in the space economy, the Falcon 9 is getting us up to space.
How's the consistency of it?
Of the Falcon 9? Or?
No.
Pretty consistent. No.
But in terms of having, is it durable? Do you have problems with it?
Yeah, no, the great thing is we've been able to solve a lot of the reliability problems that people think of Bluetooth. And the way that we've done that is, again, focused on our use case and then really specialize the antennas that are super sensitive, specifically in our 2.4 gigahertz band. And then what we also do is we have a network of terrestrial gateways as well that are able to receive the signal. So we have over 100 million different gateways. These are things like smartphone apps that are listening for the Bluetooth signal as well. And through this combination of a terrestrial network and then the direct-to-satellite connection, you can solve the problem anywhere in the world.
If you don't have that network of phones and apps that are connected and serving as gateways, on its own, can the satellite signal get through buildings?
Yeah, it actually can. So the intuition I can give you is we're as sensitive as the GPS signal is. So if you imagine your device could get a GPS lock, it can send a Hubble signal.
I mean, look, if I'm using my Garmin cycling computer, I have to go outside to get a GPS for that.
Yeah, so again, it depends on the building, and there's no one size fits all, but say your viewership can't see this, but a normal single-family home with wood would be fine.
Okay.
A steel building in concrete wouldn't.
I just want to clarify: we're not in a normal single-family home right now.
Yeah,
this is a single-family home that's featured in the show Billions.
Yes,
that's sure
is, right?
As Mr. Axelrod's Hamptons purchase. So
exactly.
Not a normal single-family home.
Who are your customers?
Yeah, so a lot of our customers, and a little bit about myself, I co-founded a company called Life360.
Right.
And this whole idea came from trying to build hardware devices for families. So think about smart collars for pets, GPS watches for kids, fall detectors for elderly parents, a better version of the AirTag Tile-like product. That's where the idea for Hubble first came from. So we've got all these consumer use cases for Hubble, but the real business value is in the enterprise and industrial IoT kind of use cases. So lots of use cases across construction, oil and gas, agriculture, mining, defense, places where you're deploying assets in mass out in rural areas and you just want to know where they are and what's going on with them.
Are you working with the government?
We do have a contract now with the government. We mostly have been a commercial business, but ultimately we view ourselves as a dual-use company.
I'm wondering about the gateways and the smartphone apps that serve as gateways. What does that network look like? And I mean, are these just Life360 customers? How does that work?
Yeah, it's not solely the Life360 network, although we do have a partnership with my previous company. And it's also a lot of people have tried to solve this problem, and they've created their own small little gateway networks. And so we're essentially collecting all of those networks together to create a much bigger network that's kind of a combined network.
Would you consider, Apple's AirTag, I think, is a consumer application that a lot of people are familiar with, but there are many limitations, and one of those limitations is it creates this network that is only through iPhones, and it also is limiting in the distance that it can be tracked. Do you think that Apple would be interested in this technology? My
dream and hope one day is Apple's one of our big customers, so we'll see.
So they could maybe beef up the AirTag using your technology.
Or buy you?
Well, no, we're not for sale.
Okay.
But
everybody's for sale.
We'll see.
Just the price.
Yeah. But what I would say is the great thing about the Hubble technology is you don't have to change your existing devices at all. So the AirTag would need zero modifications. It would just be a software change to the AirTag. As an example, we've launched publicly with Samsara as a customer. And so Samsara was able to take their existing devices, just add a little bit of software on it, and now they're connected to our network.
This is an asset tracking company. They are a publicly held company worth just shy of about $20 billion based out in Silicon Valley. And they help keep track of fleet. They do fleet management. They're doing asset tagging for like supply chains and stuff. You help them with all that stuff?
Yeah, and they just recently announced a cool new label that, looks like a shipping label, super flat. It has a Bluetooth chip and a battery in it, and you can start to think about tracking every package that gets shipped globally.
How expensive is that, though, that label that you're putting on?
Yeah, nowadays they're being built for sub-$1. You can start, I think long term, as this all plays out and the supply chains get better, we'll be talking about 25-cent shipping labels that are trackable anywhere in the world.
Is it something Amazon's interested in?
Amazon also could be very interested without breaking any NDAs, but another customer I hope to work with one day.
You also mentioned you were a co-founder of Life360. That is now a publicly held company. It has a market cap right now of about $4 billion. Yep. Do you take Hubble public?
That might be the goal. What I'm going for is not to get bought, but is to build a very independent company that does something massive and I think has a huge impact in the world. And maybe, part of solving the capital structure is going public one day. I'm still on the board of Life360, and so I appreciate the struggles of being a public company, but hopefully this is the second one.
Where are you in the entrepreneurial journey for Hubble? Are you raising money right now?
We're currently in the middle of our next fundraise. Up to date, we've raised about $100 million total in venture funding and looking to build more rockets and launch more satellites.
And that's what you're using money for? That's
primarily, yeah.
Yeah. Launch more rockets. Relationship, but it's you have to rely on SpaceX, right? And Elon.
Let's just say the entire ecosystem is hoping that there is another launch provider, and there are many people trying to do that.
What about Rocket Lab?
Rocket Lab has its Neutron coming out, and hopefully with any luck.
Have you used Rocket Lab yet?
Not yet, because they have their Electron, which is a very stable platform, but it's significantly smaller than the Falcon 9 in terms of how much mass you can get up there. So for our use case, we do need a Falcon 9-like satellite. And as you correctly pointed out, there's really only one provider today, but people are trying.